All right, welcome to Streethouse. The name is Sleam. And you already know where we come through. We come through with actually different guests. And actually today, though, I'm actually with a big man. Matter of fact, he's a giant, and I'm feeling kind of nervous actually talking to him today. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't know how to address him. I don't know if I have to address him as my lord. I don't know if I have to address him as your honor. But today we actually have the man himself. He's first and foremost, I can say, an award-winning person. We are going to talk about the awards. He's a music promoter. He's a lawyer as well in so many things. A father, pretty sure a grandparent somehow. But anyway, if you don't know who I'm talking about, is the man himself, Mr. Jai Banda. Welcome to Streethouse.
I'm honored to be here.
Thank you.
I'm actually excited, super excited.
Matter of fact, me, I'm the thing that has actually gotten me so excited is the fact that you have actually hosted us in your office today. So this is really an amazing thing. Matter of fact, I was thinking, oh, if I'm going to go to Mr. Jai Banda's office, he's going to be the one interviewing me. But at the end of the day, it seems as if I'm interviewing you in your office. Anyway,
that's fine. Yeah,
straight
sure.
Now, first and foremost, let's talk about your journey.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we should start with the music part before we actually get into you being a lawyer.
Yes, sure,
Yes.
fine.
How did it start? What got you into music? Because I'm pretty sure most of these people that actually get into your kind of shoes, at some point they wanted to be maybe a singer or something like that. They're just fascinated.
Yes.
What got you into thinking about becoming a music promoter?
You know, what I can say is perhaps it was the background of where I was brought up.
Yes.
You know, I was brought up in then they used to call it Salisbury. Okay. In Rhodesia, you know, the place where I was brought up, it was a place where we had different kinds of personalities, others in football, others in music, you know. We're just staying, like myself personally, I was staying near the place where Oliver Mtukudzi was brought up.
Wow.
You know, about 5 houses away. And his young brother, who was called Robert, late now, may his soul rest in peace, was a friend of mine. So, like during the start of his career, like of Oliver Mtukudzi, I was there seeing him, you know, right from the beginning. And it was a time during what they call the liberation struggle of Zimbabwe. And music used to play a very, very important part with artists there like Thomas Mafumo, who is called the Chimurenga King in Zimbabwe. Yes. You know, a very, very powerful musician in Zimbabwe and the world over. But I know, of course, in Malawi is not as popular. So as a young boy, I grew up around that area, and it used to fascinate myself. So because I had that interest, you know, when they were having rehearsals, we would go and be watching, and that's when my interest in music grew up.
Right. So thinking about this, and even hearing actually your accent right now, it's actually heavy Zimbabwean. So
it has to be, because you know I did my primary school in Zimbabwe, you know, having been born of migrant parents.
Oh, your parents were from, I was about to ask, are you Zimbabwean or Malawi?
You know, most of us, people like me, will always say I'm a Zimbabwean by birth and a Malawian by origin. You know, my father is from Kamenya, my mother from Mbangweni. You know, yes.
You know, when I was growing up, when I was a young person, I used to listen to the radio, and there would always come this jingle, I'm not a soldier. And all the time when I used to hear that, I actually never knew, I didn't understand what it was all about because I was very young by then. So I would hear it, I'd be like, is the DJ just putting this as a song? Is he trying to be between breaks or something like that?
Yes.
But when I grew up now, I got to learn that it was something more of a signature when it came to you as a music promoter and entertainers promotion. How did actually entertainers promotion start?
You know, you see, the time when I came back home, I would say myself, having been brought up in that area in Zimbabwe where Zimbabweans had identified their music like Chimurenga music, which Thomas Mafumo would play, or a mixture of what they call GT, which Oliver Mtukudzi could do. I could see in Zimbabwe they had an identity in which, if you would listen, you know that this music is from Zimbabwe. And when I came to Malawi, myself, the impression I had is that Malawi didn't have music with its own identity. I don't know if we've managed to get it now. So the first time I arrived in Lilongwe, of course, as usual, the first persons I associated with were musicians. There was a band there called Streethouse band with some guys from Portugal. One was called Ibo Saleh. You know, there was another one who used to play lead guitar. He was called Brown. They got interested, just, you know, associating with me. And then later, I met the Griffin Muhangos. Griffin Muhango, you know, Makasu, as it was then Kalimba, it had broken up. Griffin had started with some other young man, you know, and I used to also go and see them rehearse, and then most of the time then I would move with them. So people would ask, who is this guy, you know? So myself, I would just say to them, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a manager, I'm just an entertainer. That's how it started. And then people just started saying, Mr. Entertainer, Mr. Entertainer.
Amazing.
Yes.
So I actually took a little bit of a look into your background, and there was something to do with reggae by foot.
Yes.
Yeah. Reggae
by foot.
Yes.
You see, during those years at French Cultural Center, the French, you know, it was actually the French used to have a festival there. I can't remember whether it was called French Music Festival, something of that sort. They stopped doing that festival, which they would do every year. So there was a vacuum that festivals were no longer being held at French Cultural Center. Now myself, because my idea, my vision in Malawi was to assist artists that they should have music with their own identity. So the time I came, I realized that most Malawians at that time, they liked reggae a lot, you know. Yes. So I thought the only way to spearhead them into having their own music perhaps was just to start a festival, but then for it to be attractive, to attract them, you know, I would call it reggae by foot. Although people couldn't strictly play reggae, what we wanted was at least to play music with a Malawian identity. That's when we started reggae by foot, you know, where bands those days, like we used to play rock like Gas Machine Head, you know, bands like Pamodzi. I mean, so many names. I mean, there was a band called the Black Angels. There were the Jupiters, you know. So many groups, you know, during that time, and that's when reggae by foot started. And also because the other reason was I used to stay in Zingwangwa. I didn't have a car, you know, so I would walk all the time to the French Cultural Center. So that's why I also called it reggae by foot. Yes.
All right. So from reggae by foot to transition into entertainers promotions.
Yes.
Is it because you bought a car? No, you stopped work.
Not really. Actually, I registered first, I think, entertainers promotions. That was in 1989.
Yes.
You know, after I registered it, that's when I started now having different events. Then that's when we had the Reggae by Foot festivals, which we would take to here at French Cultural Center, BAT Ground, Lilongwe Community Center Ground, you know, Kalulu Stadium, you know, Muzuzu Stadium, you know. We did quite a lot with and many artists had a platform in which they would showcase their talent. Yeah.
All right. So talking about since that time to today, the artists that you have actually worked with and the artists that you're working with now, the guys that you actually promoted, have you seen any growth when it comes to the music industry here in Malawi? Or we are going backwards?
No, I think we've come a long way. You know, for me it has been a long journey in this country, and I can state, I mean, here and now that I don't believe there's I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I don't believe there's any Malawian in the history of this nation who has dedicated his life to assisting musicians as I've done. Someone who is not, you know, a musician, someone from outside, someone who has taken money from somewhere, from his profession, to put it into music. I mean, if you recall, Makasu had been disbanded and I started it again with Bright, whom we called Live Wire and Carter, a very good artist. You know, I worked with artists like Love Aquarius, you know, the Emmanuel Mandas. I don't know if some of these young people know them. They were the bands of that time, you know, performing at a hotel they call Chisakalime. It's now an Islamic institution. I was there when Lucie's Banda was a small boy. Lucie's Banda used to play Lucky Dube songs. The first time I met him, it was at Limbe tobacco auction floors. You know, when they were selling tobacco, bands would be taken there to perform. That is where I met Lucius, where he was playing Lucky Dube songs. I remember him as a young boy. I told him that Lucius, work hard, you will be big one day. You know, that is many years ago, and at that time I didn't even think that you will be so gigantic in Malawi. You know, I got so impressed, and that is why you found when he was performing that time. I mean, you started even performing keyboards when he was going on vocals. I would say, you know, I would join in and say, "Soldier, take over. Soldier, take over.
Yes.
Winarira, Tawiyata." That's where the name Soldier came from. Wow. For Lucius Banda, Bright and Carter, Live Wire, Bright, Live Wire and Carter. Anthony Makondeta was just a small boy. That time when he used to play those songs like Sekuru with the Zimbabwean touch. You find that the songs are cool, you know, and that is why I called him Mr. Cool. And coming nearer in time. People like Mascal, for an example, when they were within the fair, I would assist them a lot. I mean, you talk of the then Armstrong, now Onesmus. You talk of Pixie, you know. You talk of the Dan Lufanis, you know. So many artists, you know, if passed it through. And I would say music is revolution, is actually passed an evolution in Malawi. We've got different kinds of musicians. The time when we were starting, when they used to what they used to call urban music, with people like Tay Green, you know. I was there, you know, with the Tay Green, you know, when it was transcending to that kind of music which most youth are like now. That is why you find people like this one who's saying Yabaya. What do you call him? Ella Yuchi. I was surprised that in one of the songs he's saying about myself. You know, I don't even know. And there've been so many artists, you know, who have done that. You have noticed that even when I have my birthday, songs are composed, you know, about me. Over 10 different artists, and I don't think in this country even one single individual has had such an honor. And I think what I can say is at least we are getting there, you know, but we are not yet there, just because after all these years we have not yet produced an artist like Davido, like Diamond. You know, we don't have in Malawi. You know, that is what's supposed to be our goal. And I suppose if we reach such a stage, then perhaps we can be able to rest that now we can stand tall in the world. We would want our artists to be called to Johannesburg and perform for South Africans there, not being called outside Malawi and just performing for Malawians. I mean, this shows that we haven't really got there, but we are on our way there.
Right.
Yes.
So from reggae by food to entertainers promotion to today, I'm pretty sure that like a lot of memories that you have actually that you have, and there's some events that are so memorable to you.
Yes.
I really want you to share some experience one time that you actually had this event and it was amazing to you. Like, this is one of the best events that we have actually done as entertainers promotion.
You know, over the years, I would say there've just been so many events. You know, I don't know whether I can really say this was the best event, but of course, going down memory lane, the time myself and Brighton Carter, we launched the album we called Muroi.
Yes.
You know, we had it at Mount Soche. I called one of my friends from Zimbabwe to come and be a guest artist. This guy was called Prince Tendai. There was a song he used to perform called Character. I love your character, oh, character, baby, well. You know, we had a function at Mount Soche Hotel. And I believe we caught Mount Soche unprepared. It was so bad. Drinks ran out at Mount Soche. We left Mount Soche. I mean, they couldn't handle the
They
demand.
were overwhelmed.
They were just overwhelmed. It's one of the best events we have had, and not only that. The other time at Motel Paradise, when Lucie was at his peak, Brighton Carter was at his peak, we brought them together. It was also simply amazing. In Lilongwe, the other time when there were not really big stages in Malawi, mobile stages. The time we started it ourselves and we launched it in Lilongwe at Lilongwe Golf Club. It is the first time Lilongwe Golf Club had a crowd like that. You know, before then we hadn't had crowds like that. Also, I mean, in Lilongwe there've been so many events, you know, and I can't enumerate the time. We with Carlsberg, we brought AKA, you know, to perform at BAT ground. I mean, at Blantyre Sports Club. It was just a big crowd, you know. I was also overwhelmed, and I've had so many good events, like with the Black Missionaries, with Lucie's Banda, with Kefa Chimoto. You know, there are just so many. I cannot really distinguish and say this is the best. I mean, we've had these street bashes with Carlsberg, Malawi. You know, we are the ones we started with Carlsberg, Malawi. The first bashes in the street there. It has been very nice. And then there was another one at the town hall, which we did with Blantyre City Council. You know, it was very good, amazing on the New Year's Eve. And you know, we've had these white parties, which many have emulated and are doing, you know, what we started. Everybody now just says white parties, gold, black and gold, all those. We've had so many of those. So I really can't say this one is the best. They are just too numerous to mention. And the other one also was at French Cultural Center, where we brought in Mulangeni sounds. At that time, they just produced a song called Juju. You know, Kwatuku Mulangeni, then another one, Juju. It was so nice. It's so memorable that the lights went off. I didn't have a generator, but people waited, you know, until the lights came back. It was simply amazing.
So, having these highs of highs, I'm pretty sure there's some lows that you have actually encountered. And those ones you do not forget. I'm pretty sure. There must be a lawyer, you're like, oh my gosh, why did I start this in the first place?
There've been so many laws, you know.
Yes.
But just to condense them, what I would say is what has really put me off is for artists to say event organizers, I don't know, perhaps there are others, you know, steal from them or don't give them a fair share. You know, that makes me so low. You know, I feel so. I mean, I regard myself. I'm a lawyer. You know, I make my money as a lawyer. You know, I have what it takes to arrange an event. I've got music equipment. I've got a stage. Just everything I can afford to pay for a wall. I've got vehicles to. Then I get someone. Let's suppose I put in all that, and let's suppose I tell him that, okay, before we share, let me get what I put in. Then I found that many artists don't understand that. You know, so it has really put me off. It has really put me off. There've been times I've assisted artists, you know, when we find that now we are getting there, then they just ditch you just like that, you know. So in fact, actually, that is what caused me now not to have a band, because as you know, we had a band called Uhuru Band, you know, but then we stopped because of that.
All right. So when it comes to issues to do with entertainment, in terms of bideri afama neno kuti wakaka ntoza mbiri woyimba amabanga associating alikudanza kunzira ya tochi oti sakulimba na ndisi tuza za school zisikweni kwenia iwo amongo khalira kuti za nyimbo kazi ndiye you being a lawyer plus, and tell us a little bit about a brief background about law and your education.
My education, like I said, primary school, it was in Zimbabwe, a school called Chipembere Government School. Secondary school was in Zimbabwe again. I had a school called St. Mary's Secondary School. My first degree in law, I took it in Lesotho, the University of Lesotho. During that time, which was the time of the liberation struggle in Zimbabwe. So when I went there, I was treated as a refugee, and then the United Nations sponsored my education in Lesotho, where I got my first degree, the Bachelor of Arts in Law. The Bachelor of Laws degree, it was from the University of Zimbabwe. And you see, as a lawyer, I want to be honest with you, my livelihood has been based on what I've got from the law. Without having been a lawyer, I don't think I would have been able to invest, you know, in assisting musicians as I have done, because I really haven't benefited anything, you know, materially from music. It has been out of the passion. So all the money which I've got as a lawyer, I've done it to uplift musicians in Malawi. Of course, people have, even at the beginning, you know, when I used to promote music, people would say, no, he's not a what? He's not a lawyer. You know, the only time perhaps when I was accepted as a lawyer is when I was doing the Dr. Bagini Muluzi's case, and when I started talking about money laundering, you know, that's when people realized, Jai is like this. Now, the perception people have had about artists in the past, of course, some other artists, perhaps the way they've carried themselves is what have had the people out there to have a bias that perhaps these artists, you know, they are not serious in what they do. But look, we've got lawyers who are artists, you know. Look at Davis Njov, Ambokile Salim. You know, they love music just as a passion. It doesn't mean that anybody who is interested in music, it means he's interested in things, bad things, people associating with
musicians.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so you being a lawyer, I know this is a very demanding job.
Yes.
And being a music promoter as well, I understand. I've actually organized more events myself, and I understand how these things can be frustrating. From the time you actually set, you're actually creating the event, you're trying to actually get to the date itself. Matter of fact, one time I've actually used your equipment as well. I used to work for 101 back in the day, and we borrowed your equipment for a show in Boazu, and you were there as well.
Okay.
That time, so, I remember.
I remember. Yes, I remember.
So going to such events, I've seen how these things actually get to be a little bit of frustrating. So how do you juggle, your professional work and plus this music promotion issue as well?
All I can say is it has been hard work. I mean, hard work, extreme hard work. I suppose if I hadn't done that, now I would be looking old and frail. Because I'm old actually now, very, very old, and I think it has just been hard work. The time I used to do it, by the way, I'm no longer doing music promotion. My son Tonderai has taken over everything. I'm just by the sidelines, advising, but I'm no longer active. But the time I was active, I can tell you it was sheer hard work, because I had to double to make sure that Monday I'm prepared to get into court, So you can't go into court without preparing, without reading. It has been a great sacrifice on my part. And without hard work, I don't think I would have managed to make the mark which I've made in this country.
So far, now that you've said that your son has actually taken over, he's the one handling music promotion right now.
Yes.
What roster does Entertainers Promotion have? Because I'm pretty sure you still get the ins and outs of what's happening when it comes to that part. Which artists do you have right now on the roster as Entertainers Promotion?
Of course, there's just one big artist, Onesmus is the one. My son is Chonderai is managing, and informally I work a lot with the Black Missionaries. I'm their company secretary, and all events they contact me. I work a lot also with Lucie Banda. We do that. We work a lot together. But Onesmus is the one who is signed by Entertainers Promotions.
Are you actually happy with what is happening with business right now with your son?
Yes, I'm so excited. My son is actually taking it to another level. Myself, I believe I just did the groundwork, but Tonderai is taking it somewhere else. And you can imagine that since I left, he's managed to buy brand new equipment, which we have now. And there are lots of plans. What I used to do with Carlsberg, Castile, Malawi, Tonderai is continuing. He's doing so many events for the nation. You have heard of a club called Steakout in Blantyre. In fact, one of the top restaurants and bar in Blantyre at the moment, Steakout. It's Tonderai who is running it, and I can actually say he is taking it to another level in the standard, the class of the events which he does. Even myself, I never reached that standard. The kind of events he's now doing, with the gadgets which he gets. During my time, the only that other time was the Utsi Tuluka, when we really started putting smoke machines. So now everybody does that. So Tonderai is now taking it to another level.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Ndikuona kuchedwa mba tawi kugwirwa ba nifuna nzanyamule kanda manja mwanga. Hello Malawi, this is your boy Sir Patrick's. Remember, you are watching Craft House TV. Game changer. Boom.
As I was saying, I'm actually with the giant, and we're right back. Mr. Jai Banda, a lawyer, your honor, a music promoter, and a lot of other things. Anyway, let's talk about a bit about the awards that you have actually won over the years. I mean, how did that make you feel winning awards? Because at the end of the day, I've actually seen there haven't been so many music promoters, but you still had a little bit of competition to reach at a point of winning awards. Let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I've won awards. In fact, I can't even now remember which awards I've won. In fact, I think as an event organizer, I've got most of the awards, more than anybody else in Malawi. And I mean, I can say I haven't really had competition as such over the years of someone who has been dedicated like myself. Because if I'm going to ask you that for the past 35 years, can you name one event organizer who has done what I've done?
It will only be Jai Banda.
It will only be myself. Others come, during a short period, once they realize that they are losing lots of money, they stop. Whereas Jai has been consistent, over the years. I mean, even when people want to talk about music promotion in Malawi, the only name which comes up, it's just name. Of course, there are others who are trying, they do a show here and there, but you find that after 2-3 years, they are no longer what? They are no longer ahead. Even if I'm going to ask you 10 years ago, who else was really organizing events in Malawi as in music promotion? You'll find you will fail to come up with names. You fail to come up with names. Yeah, it's only my brother Lucie who came up with Sunday Music Festival, which we started together. Who has anyway been consistent in that, but otherwise. There are very few. It has only been me. Of course, there have been others, but at a small scale, at a small scale. And why entertainers promotions, will always remain on top is I've passed on the baton to Tonderai, who is young, vigilant, energetic, who is just continuing. Or with with what I started, there have been so many awards. I can't really say, I can't even remember. But I know at my house, if you were to come, I've got about 5 trophies, and besides awards, I'm one of the most invited to events, as a guest of honor, VIP. Most of the events in Malawi, they would want Jai Banda. They feel honored. And I've also noticed if artists, let's suppose, do a song, if I comment and say this song is very good or keep it up, they feel good. All of them, they feel good, they feel nice because they know that Jai is serious about that.
Amazing.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I know you've actually already said you have passed the baton to your son. Yeah. But I'm sure there's so many young people right now that are watching, they're inspired by your story. I'm actually a person that is inspired right now, even just hearing you talking about your journey from actually back in the day to today. So if you had to actually give somebody a little bit of advice or step by step, like if you want to be the next Jai Banda or the future Jai Banda or somewhere close to Tonderai, this is what you have to do, what would you say?
What I would say is that it's just a matter of hard work. You have to remain focused,
Yes.
There will be highs and lows. People are going to say bad things about you. People are going to say lots of things to discourage you. Don't worry about that. I mean, Rome was not built in a day. It takes a long time to come up with something. So just remain focused, keep working hard. No matter, you release some song, people say, so matter what, forget about that. Just have your vision and continue working hard. Don't mind what people say. Just run your own race. Do whatever you want to do with passion. Put in all the effort which you have. If you don't have money, don't worry about that. Your talent will speak in the end. God has got his own time, to bless you. So don't be discouraged when you see others are already on the top. And the other thing, when you get on top, don't despise those who are down. And if you're still down there, what I will ask is, don't despise that on top. Don't try and pull them down so that you think that yourself you will get on top, because you are pulling those who are on top already down. Just run your own race. Just concentrate on what you do. Have your own identity. Be unique in what you do. I'm so happy that so many people in this country, in this industry, have emulated what we've done. I've seen the way the adverts come up, the ways perhaps they write, I actually see, this is my style. I'm proud of that. But everybody should try and be unique, you be identified with your own thing, because everybody is a star in his own right, in whatever he does. Because all being said and done, what myself I can say in the music industry, when blowing my own trumpet, I've always said it. I'm the best there was, the best there is, and the best there shall ever be.
Amazing.
Thank you.
All right. So anyway, apart from that, just looking at, because you've actually touched on, working hard, envisioning yourself being somebody, and all that kind of stuff. From the time you actually grew up to today, is this the best you actually are, or is it somewhere you wanted to be, or you feel like, I haven't gotten to the level I wanted to be? How did you envision yourself when you were young? And when you look at yourself today, do you actually see yourself as if you have gotten to the level you wanted to be when you were younger? Or do you feel like there's still more work that needs to be done?
I still feel the best is yet to come. Yeah. I still feel the best is yet to come. My dream is that, like I said, we have artists like a Diamond, a Beyonce. On that day when we have a Malawian artist on stage, and I go on stage perhaps and introduce that artist, then I'll say, yes, this is what I'd always wanted. This has been my dream about Malawian artists, because all my life, I've dedicated it to make sure that the Malawi industry, music industry, is a par with all the others on the planet.
So if you had to give advice to a younger Jai today, what would you tell him? Would you clap hands for him and say, oh, you've got him there? What would you say to a younger Jai? Let's say probably maybe 15-year-old Jai, if you had to meet yourself younger today, what would you say?
What I would say to Jai,
yourself,
to myself, continue working hard. That's what I would say to you. Continue working hard until your last breath.
All right.
Yes.
Actually, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for actually hosting us here at your office.
Yeah.
And trust me, the whole time I've been talking to you, I've been nervous, been feeling like, oh man, am I actually saying the right things? But anyway, I'm glad we actually had this time, and I'm pretty sure so many people have learned a couple things from this. I've also learned something. I've been inspired myself. I'm hoping that the journey continues on. Major shows actually yet to come. I'm hoping someday I'm going to be over there when you're going to be introducing that Diamond Platinums from Malawi on stage. I'll be like, I interviewed that man.
Sure.
Definitely. We appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Welcome. It has been so nice to be here, and honor you. I hope many people are watching, and I hope people will support, your whatever you're doing. And don't forget, Tondorai Jai Banda is here to continue the entertainer's legacy.
Amazing. All right, you've heard yourself from the man himself. The best there was, the best there is, the best there shall be. The man himself, Mr. Jai Banda. From us, Streethouse. The name is Sleam. And we'll be back again next week with another guest and another episode. And we out. Peace.